When the condition to be treated as warranty, Section 13 provides that where a contract of sale is subject to any condition to be fulfilled by the seller, the buyer may waive the condition or elect to treat the breach of condition as a breach of warranty and not as a ground for treating the contract as repudiated. So here if there is a condition to be fulfilled by the seller, but the buyer can opt for the breach of warranty and not as a ground for treating the contract as repudiated. Not severable and the buyer has accepted the goods or the part thereof, the breach of any condition to be fulfilled by seller can only be treated as a breach of warranty and not as a ground for rejecting the goods and treating the contract as repudiated unless there is a term of the contract expressed or implied to that effect. So if there are if the goods cannot be separated for condition and warranty and the buyer has accepted a part of the goods or the goods, then breach of any condition to be fulfilled by the seller. So if there is a condition to be fulfilled by the seller, then it can be treated only as a breach of warranty. Next is remedies available to buyer for breach of conditions. Affected party may claim refund of the price and reject the goods. So the party who is affected in case of breach of condition can refund for the price, can claim refund for the price, or they can reject the goods. Elect to treat the breach of condition as a breach of warranty and claim the damages or compensation. So they can treat the breach of condition as a breach of warranty and claim for the damages. When the affected party treats the breach of condition as a breach of warranty, he cannot repudiate the contract but claim for the damages only. We have discussed this. No remedy is available when the fulfillment of condition is excused by the law by means of impossibility or otherwise. So if there is something which is not possible, then there is no remedy available for that. Next, consequences of breach of warranty. The breach of warranty gives rise to claim for the damages but not to reject the goods and treat the contract as repudiated. Buyer may sue for the damages. No remedy available for fulfillment of warranty which becomes impossible by law. Implied conditions are of following types. First is condition as to the title, section 14, subsection A. In a contract of sale, unless the circumstances of contract as such as to show a different intention, there is an implied condition on the part of the seller that in case of a sale he has a right to sell the goods, and that in case of an agreement to sell he will have a right to sell the goods at a time when the property is to pass. So if there is a different intention which can be seen, then there is an implied condition. Implied condition means without telling to the buyer or the seller that this must be the condition. It is not necessary. It is fixed. So what is that implied condition? In the case of sale, he has a right to sell the goods. So there is implied condition that if there is a different intention with the buyer or the seller, then the seller can sell the goods, or if there is agreement to sell, then he have the right to sell goods when the property will pass. Next is sale by description, section 15. Where there is a contract of sale of goods by description, there is an implied condition that goods shall correspond with description. So if the buyer has given a description regarding the goods, that I want this type of goods, this must be included in the goods, then it is implied condition that the goods must be as per that description. And if the sale is made by the sample as well as by description, it is not sufficient that bulk of goods corresponds with the sample if the goods do not also correspond with description. So if there is a sale by a sample is given to the buyer, then the sample as well as the description should match with the goods. Goods are sold by description when they are described in a contract. So, what are the goods by description? Which are described in the contract, which type of goods is needed. Next is condition as to the quality or fitness, section 16. So, as per this section, the buyer is supposed to satisfy himself about the quality of the goods he has purchased and also charged with the responsibility of seeing that the goods suit for the purpose of which they were purchased by him. Later, the goods does not turn out to be as per his purpose. Buyer cannot ask for compensation. So here, if the buyer is purchasing the goods, there is implied condition that he needs to check about the quality, about the price, and all the things which are necessary when you are buying the goods. Afterwards, you cannot claim the seller for compensation. Where the buyer but there are some exceptions which are as under. Where a buyer expressly by implication makes it known to the seller the particular purpose for which the goods are required. So if the buyer has described properly that I want this particular type of goods, then this exception does not, this condition does not apply. Where the goods are brought by description from a seller who deals in goods of the description, there is an implied condition that goods shall be of a mercantile quality. So, if the buyer has purchased the goods of description from that seller who is selling only those type of goods, then there is a condition that seller have to sell the goods of mercantile quality, good quality. In order to apply the implied condition as to the merchantability, following requirement must be satisfied. So, for this merchantability condition, there are some requirements which must be satisfied. Seller should deal in goods of that description. Obviously, the buyer must not have the opportunity to examine the goods, or there may be latent defect in the goods which would not be apparent on reasonable examination. So if there is a requirement that buyer does not get the opportunity to examine those goods, and even if the goods are examined properly, the defect cannot be found. Implied warranty or a condition as to the quality or fitness for a particular purpose may be annexed by usage of trade. In some cases, purpose for which the goods are required may be ascertained from the acts or conduct of the parties of the sale and from nature of description article purchased. So sometimes from only the act or the conduct of the parties, it can be identified that which type of goods is required by the buyer. Sale by sample, section 17. In the case of contract of sale by sample, there is an implied condition that bulk shall correspond with the sample in quality. So if there is a sample given to the buyer, the actual goods that the buyer is purchasing, that should match with that sample relating to the quality of the goods. Then the buyer have a reasonable opportunity of comparing the bulk with the sample. So buyer must get the opportunity to compare the bulk with the sample. That the goods shall be free from any defect. There should be not any defect in the goods, rendering them unmerchantable, which would not be apparent on reasonable examination of the sample. So there must not be any defect, and if there is a defect, it could not be identified with reasonable examination. Now there are implied warranties of the following types. First is warranty of quiet possession. If buyer in any way is disturbed from enjoying the quiet possession of the goods purchased because of seller's defective title, he can claim for damages from the seller. It is a warranty that neither the seller shall nor shall anybody claim under a superior title or under any authority interfere with the quiet enjoyment of the superior title or under his authority interfere with the quiet enjoyment of the buyer. So if the buyer is not enjoying the possession of the goods properly, then he can, because of the defective title of the seller, then the buyer can claim for the damages. Warranty of freedom from the encumbrances, section 14, subsection 6. C. The buyer is not, the buyer is also entitled to additional warranty. The buyer gets the additional warranty that goods are free from any charge or a right of any third party. So if the goods are free from any charge and they don't have any third party involvement, not declared or known to the buyer, it is presumed that the goods are free of the third party charges. If it is otherwise, the buyer is entitled to claim for the damages. So if it is not according to that warranty, then the buyer can claim for damages. Warranty as to the quality or a fitness for a particular purpose may be annexed by usage of trade. Warranty to disclose dangerous nature of goods. Where a person sells the goods knowing that the goods are inherently dangerous or they are likely to be dangerous to the buyer, and the buyer is ignorant of the danger, he must warn the buyer of probable danger, otherwise he will be liable for the damages. So if the seller knows that there is some danger thing may happen if the person buys these goods, then it is a duty of the seller to aware the buyer regarding that. Otherwise, he will have to claim for the he will liable for the damages. Next is doctrine of caveat emptor. So caveat emptor is a Latin word that means let the buyer beware. The principle states that it is for the buyers to satisfy himself the goods he is purchasing are of good quality and which he requires. If he buys the goods for a particular purpose, he must satisfy himself that they are fit for that purpose. So let the buyer beware means the buyer who is buying the goods, he needs to check the quality of goods before purchasing. Or if he is purchasing the goods for a particular purpose, that purpose must be fulfilled. He needs to check that. The doctrine of caveat emptor is embodied in section 16 of the Act, which states that subject to the provision of this Act and of any other law for the time being forced, there is no implied warranty or a condition as to the quality or fitness of any particular purpose of the goods supplied under a contract of sale. So simply, it is not a seller's duty to give the buyer goods which are fit for a suitable purpose of buyer. So it is not his duty, it is the buyer's duty that he should check that the goods which he is purchasing fits for his purpose or suitable for his purpose is or not. If he makes a wrong selection, he cannot blame the seller. Okay, there are exceptions for this too. First is when a seller makes a false representation and the buyer relies on it. So if the seller makes a false or a wrong representation and buyer is relied on it, then its exception is not applied. Where a seller actively conceals a defect in the goods which is not visible on a reasonable examination of the same. So if the seller conceals a defect in the goods which cannot be examined with a reasonable examination, where a buyer relies upon the skill and judgment of the seller, has expressly or impliedly communicated to him purpose for which the goods are acquired. So if the buyer has told to the seller that I want this particular type of goods and he has specified it properly and the buyer is relying on the skill and judgment of the seller, then this doctrine will not apply. Where goods are brought from description from a seller who deals in goods of that description. So the seller is dealing in that type of description which the buyer needs, then this doctrine will not apply. Next is performance of contract of sale. This we will do in the next class. So please like, share and subscribe to my channel and press the bell icon for the new and updated videos.